You are getting dressed for the day, and you button your favorite pair of pants. They feel a little tighter than they did a few months ago. You look in the mirror, press your hand against your stomach, and you feel that familiar wave of frustration. You might be thinking, I just need to do more sit-ups. I just need to eat less. I just need to try harder. But what if the fat sitting around your midsection isn't just a cosmetic annoyance? What if it is actively working against your health, sending dangerous signals to your heart, your liver, and your brain? For years, we have been told that a little extra weight around the middle is just a normal part of getting older. But here is what most people don't realize. The fitness industry and mainstream diet culture have been treating all body fat as if it is exactly the same. It is not. There is a specific, hidden type of fat that accumulates deep inside your belly, and it is quietly destroying your metabolism from the inside out. Today, we are going to look closely at your waistline. I am going to reveal 5 clear, undeniable signs that your belly fat is actually dangerous visceral fat. I will explain exactly how to test for it right in your own home, without expensive medical equipment. But what happens when you finally identify this hidden danger? What happens next may shock you, because once you know what you are truly fighting, the solution becomes incredibly clear. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you will have a realistic, science-backed plan to eliminate this toxic fat, heal your hormones, and reclaim your health, all without starving yourself. The hidden problem inside your midsection. Before we get to the 5 warning signs, we have to understand what we are actually looking for. When you pinch the skin on your thighs, your hips, or the back of your arms, you are feeling something called subcutaneous fat. Subcutaneous simply means under the skin. While this type of fat might frustrate you when you are trying to fit into a certain dress or pair of jeans, biologically speaking, it is relatively harmless. It is just your body's way of storing extra energy for a rainy day. Belly fat, however, is a completely different story. When your waistline expands, especially as you cross the age of 40 or 50, it is very often a sign of visceral fat. This is not the fat you can pinch. This is the deep fat that lies completely beneath your abdominal muscle wall. It wraps itself tightly around your vital internal organs, your liver, your stomach, your pancreas, and your intestines. But the surprising part is that visceral fat is not just inactive padding. It does not just sit there taking up space. Research suggests that visceral fat acts like a completely unauthorized active organ inside your body. It has its own blood supply. It is constantly active, and it is incredibly toxic. This deep fat pumps out dangerous inflammatory chemicals called cytokines directly into your bloodstream. It disrupts your natural hormone balance. It raises your blood pressure. The evidence shows that having a high amount of dangerous visceral fat is directly linked to an increased risk of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, stroke, Alzheimer's disease, and certain types of cellular mutations. When you have a lot of visceral fat, your immune system is in a state of chronic alarm. Your body feels like it is constantly fighting a low-grade infection. So, how do you know if the fat you are carrying is the harmless subcutaneous kind, or the dangerous visceral kind? Let's look at the first major warning sign. Sign number 1, the hard belly. The first and most obvious sign that your belly fat is actually dangerous visceral fat is how it physically feels when you press on it. If you carry most of your weight in the form of subcutaneous fat, your stomach will feel soft, squishy, and jiggly. You can easily grab it with your hands. It hangs over your belt. But visceral fat is entirely different, because this fat is located deep inside the abdominal cavity, entirely behind the thick wall of your abdominal muscles. You cannot pinch it. Instead, it pushes the entire muscle wall outward from the inside. If your stomach protrudes outward but feels firm, tight, or hard to the touch, almost like a taut drum or a swallowed beach ball, that is a massive red flag. You might notice that your stomach feels distended, and no matter how much you suck it in, it doesn't really go anywhere. This is because the volume of the fat wrapped around your organs is physically pushing your abdomen outward. This firm, protruding belly is incredibly common in men over 50. But it is also increasingly common in women after menopause, when hormonal shifts redirect fat storage from the hips directly to the deep abdomen. If your belly feels hard rather than soft, your body is holding on to toxic visceral fat. Sign number 2. The tape measure test. The second sign does not require a doctor, a blood test, or an MRI. It is a simple measurement you can do right now in your bedroom, and it is often more accurate at predicting your health risks than stepping on a scale. Your overall body weight, or your BMI, body mass index, can be incredibly misleading. You can actually be at a normal weight on the scale, but still carry a dangerous amount of visceral fat. This is a condition often called skinny fat, or medically known as metabolically obese normal weight. To find out if you are at risk, you need to use the tape measure test. Take a flexible measuring tape and wrap it around your bare stomach, directly across your belly button. Do not suck in your stomach. Do not pull the tape too tight. Just relax and breathe out normally. The medical guidelines are very clear on this. For women, if your waist circumference is 35 inches or more, you have a high level of dangerous visceral fat. For men, if your waist circumference is 40 inches or more, your visceral fat has reached a critical, health-threatening level. There is one mistake almost everyone makes when doing this test. They measure at the belt line. Your pant size is not your waist circumference. Most modern pants sit down on the hips, well below the actual belly. You must measure at the belly button. If your numbers are above these thresholds, your vital organs are currently being suffocated by inflammatory fat. Sign number 3. The darkening of your skin. This third sign is something most people completely ignore, or they assume it is just a normal part of getting older. If you have dangerous visceral fat, you are almost certainly dealing with a condition called insulin resistance. Visceral fat and insulin resistance go hand in hand. They feed off each other in a vicious cycle. When you are insulin resistant, your pancreas has to pump out massive amounts of insulin just to keep your blood sugar normal. And extremely high levels of insulin flowing through your bloodstream cause physical changes to your skin. Take a look at the skin on the back of your neck, your armpits, or your groin. Do you see patches of skin that look noticeably darker, thicker, or almost velvety in texture? This condition is medically known as acanthosis nigricans. Many people try to scrub this darker skin off in the shower, thinking it is dirt. But it is not dirt. It is a direct, physical manifestation of hyperinsulinemia, too much insulin in the blood. Another subtle sign on your skin is the sudden appearance of multiple skin tags, especially around your neck and chest. While a single skin tag might be genetic, a sudden outbreak of them is strongly correlated with severe insulin resistance and high levels of abdominal fat. If your skin is showing these signs, your body is screaming at you that your metabolism is broken and your visceral fat is actively driving you toward type 2 diabetes. Sign number 4. The cholesterol disconnect. The fourth sign that your belly fat is a serious medical threat hides inside your routine blood work. Every year, you go to the doctor, they draw your blood, and they tell you your total cholesterol number. If it is a little high, they might tell you to eat less fat and prescribe a medication. But total cholesterol does not tell the whole story. If you want to know if your abdominal fat is the toxic visceral kind, you need to look at two specific numbers on that blood panel: your triglycerides and your HDL cholesterol. Triglycerides are a type of fat found in your blood. When you eat more calories than you need, especially from refined carbohydrates, sugars, and alcohol, your liver converts those calories into triglycerides and stores them as visceral fat. HDL is often called the good cholesterol. It acts like a garbage truck, moving through your bloodstream and clearing out the bad fats. Here is the secret connection. High visceral fat almost always causes your triglycerides to skyrocket and your good HDL cholesterol to plummet. If you look at your lab results and your triglycerides are over 150 milligrams per deciliter and your HDL is below 50 for a woman or below 40 for a man, you have a classic metabolic profile of someone suffering from toxic visceral fat. Even if your doctor only focused on your total cholesterol, this specific ratio, high triglycerides and low HDL, is a massive warning sign that the fat inside your belly is actively damaging your cardiovascular system. Sign number 5. Constant fatigue and joint aches. The fifth and final sign is not something you can measure with a tape or a blood test. It is something you feel every single day. If you are carrying a large amount of visceral fat, you probably wake up feeling exhausted, even after a full night of sleep. You might need multiple cups of coffee just to function. By 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you experience a massive crash in energy, and you desperately crave sugar or carbohydrates just to keep your eyes open. You might also notice that your joints ache. Your knees hurt, your lower back is stiff, and your fingers feel swollen in the morning. Why is this happening? Remember earlier when we discussed how visceral fat pumps out inflammatory cytokines. These chemicals travel throughout your entire body. They cause systemic, total body inflammation. Inflammation is incredibly exhausting for the human body. Your immune system is working overtime, draining your energy reserves. Furthermore, this inflammation settles into your joints, causing pain and stiffness that most people mistakenly blame on just getting old. Additionally, people with severe abdominal fat often suffer from sleep apnea, a condition where the airway partially collapses during sleep, depriving the brain of oxygen. You might snore loudly, wake up gasping for air, and never reach the deep, restorative phases of sleep. If you are chronically exhausted, aching, and heavily reliant on sugar and caffeine just to get through the day, your belly fat is not just sitting there. It is actively stealing your quality of life. Common mistakes, why you can't lose it. If you have recognized 1, 2, or even all 5 of these signs, you might be feeling a sense of panic right now. You might be tempted to jump off the couch, do 100 sit-ups, and starve yourself for the next 3 days. Please, do not do that. There is one mistake almost everyone makes when they realize they have dangerous belly fat. They treat it like a calorie problem instead of a hormonal problem. If you try to fix visceral fat by doing endless crunches on the floor, you are wasting your time. We know that spot reduction is a myth. You cannot burn the fat around your liver by flexing your stomach muscles. All you will do is hurt your lower back and strain your neck. If you try to fix this by severely restricting your calories and going on a crash diet, your body will rebel, because your system is already inflamed and stressed. Starving yourself will trigger a massive release of cortisol, the stress hormone. When cortisol floods your system, your body goes into survival mode. It slows down your healthy metabolism to a crawl. It begins to break down your precious muscle tissue for energy, and it fiercely guards the visceral fat, believing you are in the middle of a famine. You cannot starve visceral fat away. You cannot out-exercise it with brutal, high-intensity boot camps that leave you exhausted and injured. To eliminate this dangerous fat, we have to look at the underlying science of why your body put it there in the first place. The scientific explanation: insulin and the liver. To truly understand how to heal your body, we have to look closely at your liver. Your liver is the metabolic engine of your body. It is responsible for processing everything you eat and drink. But in our modern world, we are completely overwhelming this vital organ. When you eat a diet high in refined carbohydrates, like white bread, pasta, pastries, and breakfast cereals, and high in liquid sugars like sodas and fruit juices, your blood sugar spikes dramatically. Your pancreas releases a massive surge of insulin to deal with this sugar. Insulin's job is to push that sugar into your cells for energy. But because we eat these foods constantly, our cells become deaf to the insulin. This is the insulin resistance we talked about earlier. Because the cells won't let the sugar in, the sugar travels back to the liver. Your liver says, "I have to get this dangerous sugar out of the bloodstream." So it converts the sugar into fat. And where does it store this fat? Right next door. It packs it in and around itself, and around the stomach and intestines. This is how visceral fat is born. It is a direct result of chronic high blood sugar and chronic high insulin. As long as your insulin levels are high, your body is completely locked in fat storage mode. You are physically incapable of burning belly fat when insulin is elevated. Therefore, the only scientific way to achieve true weight loss and melt away dangerous visceral fat is to keep your insulin levels low and stable. We have to open the vault. What actually works? The dietary shift. So, how do we lower insulin and signal the body that it is safe to burn this toxic fat? It starts with what you put on your plate. First, you must ruthlessly eliminate liquid sugars. This is the fastest way to stop the accumulation of visceral fat. Stop drinking sodas, sweetened teas, energy drinks, and yes, even fruit juices. Liquid sugar bypasses all digestive delays and slams directly into your liver, instantly creating more abdominal fat. Drink water, black coffee, or unsweetened herbal tea. Second, You need to drastically reduce refined carbohydrates. We have to stop the massive insulin spikes. Swap out the bagels, the pasta, and the white rice for nutrient-dense, whole foods. Instead of carbohydrates, you need to build your meals around high-quality protein and healthy fats. When you eat protein, like wild-caught fish, grass-fed beef, pastured eggs, or organic poultry, your blood sugar barely moves. Your insulin stays quiet. Furthermore, protein provides the building blocks for lean muscle, and muscle is the absolute best tissue in your body for soaking up excess blood sugar and healing insulin resistance. When you eat healthy fats, like avocados, olive oil, nuts, and seeds, you provide your body with clean, slow-burning energy that keeps you feeling incredibly full and satisfied for hours. You won't feel the need to snack, which allows your insulin levels to drop between meals, opening the door for fat burning. Finally, you must dramatically increase your intake of soluble fiber. Vegetables like broccoli, Brussels sprouts, asparagus, and leafy greens are packed with fiber. Soluble fiber mixes with water in your gut to form a gel. This gel slows down the absorption of food, preventing blood sugar spikes. More importantly, fiber feeds the good bacteria in your gut microbiome. When your gut bacteria are healthy, they produce compounds that actively lower systemic inflammation and help shrink visceral fat. The power of movement and sleep diet is 80% of the battle against belly fat, but you must support your new diet with the right lifestyle habits. Remember, chronic stress and high cortisol force your body to store visceral fat. Therefore, your exercise routine should focus on lowering stress, not increasing it. The single best exercise for reducing dangerous visceral fat is a brisk, daily walk. Walking for 30 to 45 minutes a day, especially out in nature or in the sunshine, is a powerful biological signal of safety. It lowers cortisol. It gently uses up excess blood sugar without demanding massive amounts of recovery from your joints. Walking after a large meal is one of the most effective ways to blunt an insulin spike. Add to this a simple resistance training routine 2 or 3 days a week. Lift some moderate weights or do bodyweight exercises like squats and modified push-ups. Building just a little bit of muscle mass drastically improves your healthy metabolism and protects your bones as you age. But there is one final piece to the puzzle, and it is the one most people ignore. You must protect your sleep. If you are getting less than 7 hours of sleep, or if your sleep is constantly interrupted, you are fighting an uphill battle. Sleep deprivation causes a massive spike in cortisol the next morning. It disrupts your hunger hormones, making you crave sugar and carbohydrates. If you want to lose belly fat, treat your sleep like a medical prescription. Make your room dark, cool, and quiet. Turn off all glowing screens an hour before bed. Give your body the deep, restorative rest it needs to repair your cells and balance your hormones. Your practical action plan. I have given you a lot of heavy information today. Realizing that your belly fat is actually a toxic, active organ can be frightening. But I do not want you to feel scared. I want you to feel empowered. You now know the truth. You know the 5 signs. You know that it is not about eating less. It is about eating right. Your body is incredibly resilient, and it is ready to heal the moment you stop fighting it. Let's break this down into a highly practical action plan you can start today. Number 1. Go into your kitchen and throw away the liquid sugars and the highly processed breakfast cereals. You cannot be tempted if it is not in the house. Number 2. Commit to a high-protein breakfast. Tomorrow morning, instead of toast and jam, have 2 scrambled eggs with a handful of spinach and a slice of avocado. This one change will stabilize your blood sugar for the entire day. Number 3. Stop grazing. Stop eating 6 small meals a day. Eat 3 satisfying, nutrient-dense meals, and let your digestive system rest in between. This fasting window between meals allows your insulin to drop, so you can actually burn fat. Number 4. Put on your shoes and go for a 20-minute walk after dinner. It aids digestion, lowers blood sugar, and clears your mind before bed. Healing insulin resistance and melting away dangerous visceral fat does not happen overnight. You did not get to this point in a week, and you will not reverse it in a week. But if you are consistent, the inflammation will cool down. Your energy will return, your blood work will improve, and that hard, stubborn belly will finally begin to soften and shrink. Summary: Let's quickly recap the key lessons from today to make sure you are armed with the right information. Not all fat is created equal. The deep fat inside your abdomen, known as visceral fat, is an active, toxic organ that drives inflammation and disease. The 5 clear signs that you are dealing with this dangerous fat are: first, a protruding stomach that feels hard or firm to the touch. Second, a waist circumference over 35 inches for women or 40 inches for men. Third, darkening patches of skin or skin tags that signal severe insulin resistance. Fourth, routine blood work showing high triglycerides and low HDL cholesterol. And fifth, chronic fatigue, joint pain, and poor sleep driven by systemic inflammation. To eliminate this threat, you must stop treating it like a simple calorie math problem. You cannot out-exercise a bad diet, and you cannot starve yourself healthy. You must focus on lowering your insulin levels. Eliminate liquid sugars and refined carbohydrates. Build your lifestyle around high-quality protein, healthy fats, and abundant fibrous vegetables. Support your hormones with daily walking and deep, restorative sleep. You are entirely capable of turning your health around. It is never too late to reclaim your metabolism, protect your vital organs, and feel truly comfortable and vibrant in your own body again. If this video helped you understand what is really going on inside your midsection, please do me a favor. Hit the like button right now so this information can reach more people who are frustrated and looking for real answers. Subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into naturally healing your body. Leave a comment below and tell me, which of the 5 signs surprised you the most today? I love reading your insights and answering your questions. Share this video with a friend or a loved one who might be struggling with stubborn weight. You could give them the exact knowledge they need to save their own life. Remember, true health is not about punishing yourself into a smaller size. It is about deeply nourishing the incredible body you have. Be kind to yourself today. Take that walk, and I will see you in the next video.